So, what's the real connection between genius, consciousness, and freedom? Today we're going to dive deep into a really profound idea that ties them all together, and it's all captured in this one beautiful principle.
Okay, let's start with something that just blows my mind. The ancient sage Lao Tzu. He supposedly wrote the entire Tao Te Ching, a masterpiece of wisdom, in a single night. I mean, how on earth is that even possible? What kind of insight was he tapping into that just feels so completely out of reach for most of us?
Well, the answer we're exploring today suggests it's not some magic trick, but a fundamental process. This principle right here, this is our roadmap. It basically unfolds in two big stages. First, how the mind is actually built, and second, how it learns to fly, how it transcends. So, to really get a handle on this, let's stop thinking of Lao Tzu as some mythical figure up on a mountain. Instead, let's treat him like our first case study. What was actually going on inside his head?
See, Lao Tzu's genius wasn't about being book smart. It wasn't about memorizing facts. His incredible insights into the Tao, into harmony, into ideas like effortless action, all of it came from a deep, almost obsessive observation of the world around him. He didn't just see the world, he absorbed it, he processed it, and he forged it into pure wisdom.
And that brings us to the most powerful tool that every single one of us has, our mind. Now, the source material gives us this fantastic metaphor to help us understand its potential. So ask yourself, is your mind a passive valley, or is it an active crucible? First up, the source compares the mind to an empty valley. And I love this because it highlights just how flexible it is. Its capacity isn't fixed, you know? It can stretch out to hold the entire universe, or it can zoom in to focus on something as tiny as a single sesame seed. And the crucial point here is that you're the one in control of its scope.
But here's where it gets really important. Is your mind just a container, like a cold warehouse that just stores experiences without ever really being changed by them? Or is it a crucible, a living forge? You see, a crucible doesn't just hold things. It melts them down, smashes them together, and forges something totally new. And that is how the spirit mind is born. Not by just looking at the world, but by actively wrestling with it.
So, what are the raw materials for this mental forge? It's something called the myriad phenomena. It's just a beautiful way of saying, well, everything. Literally everything you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. The sun, the stars, the sound of a bird, the taste of your coffee. We are swimming in the raw data we need to create wisdom. It's not hiding somewhere else. It's right here, all around us, all the time. And this leads to a really important question we have to ask ourselves. We're all drenched in this ocean of phenomena every single day. But what have we really understood from it all? If the honest answer is not a whole lot, then the source would say we have a mind, for sure, but we don't yet have a spirit mind. It's that act of finding insight. That's what lights the fire.
But get this, forging a spirit mind isn't the final destination. Nope, it's actually the starting line. From here, the real journey of transcendence begins, and it's a path that unfolds across three totally distinct levels of thinking. Having a spirit mind means you can finally see the patterns in the chaos. That's huge. But transcendence, that's about elevating your perspective beyond those patterns, beyond the physical world itself. This is the path from being a wise person who understands the game to being a free creator who's no longer bound by its rules.
And this whole journey is laid out for us right here. Level 1, that's Lao Tzu's level. It's about Taiji thinking, seeing the unity in everything, finding the one theme inside all the many details. Then you get to level 2, embodied by the Buddha. And this is a massive leap. It's about moving from that one to realizing the formless none, the idea of emptiness that underpins all of reality. And that final stage, that's about learning to operate from that place of nothing, which lets you engage with everything with absolute freedom. Okay, so this brings us to the most mind-bending idea in this entire explainer, and maybe the most liberating one too. It's the core idea behind that second level of transcendence. So just let this one land for a second. The source argues that everything we perceive with our senses, the sun, the mountains, even our own bodies, is fundamentally an illusion. Now that doesn't mean it isn't there, but it does mean that its form isn't solid or permanent. How can that possibly be true? Well, think about something simple, like a flower. You see it, it's beautiful, it's colorful, it feels so real, right? But what happens next? A few days later, its petals start to wilt and fall. And a few weeks after that, it's gone completely. The thing you saw as a stable flower was really just a temporary process, a fleeting moment.
The same is true for everything. Now, I know the natural reaction to hearing this might be, well, that sounds awful. If everything's just an illusion, what's the point of anything? Why should I even care? It sounds kind of hopeless, doesn't it?
But the text flips this completely on its head. It says, no, absolutely not. Recognizing that things are illusions isn't a prison sentence. It is the absolute key to unlocking your freedom.
And here's why. The phenomena, the things themselves, they aren't the problem. Our attachment to them is the problem. Think about that flower again. If you desperately cling to it, trying to make it last forever, its inevitable death is going to cause you real suffering. But if you understand it's a passing illusion, you're free to just appreciate its incredible beauty in the moment without the anxiety of losing it. Your spirit mind is no longer a slave to the things it sees. It's free. So, where does this road finally lead? After you forge the spirit mind, after you learn to see through the illusion, what's the final destination? What's the end game? Well, according to this text, how deep you go into transcendence directly impacts your state of consciousness. These realms, they aren't literal places you travel to. They're metaphors for levels of spiritual freedom. Moving from an initial to a deep transcendence means your sense of awareness and peace just expands exponentially. And the ultimate goal? A state of complete, unshakable bliss, totally free from all attachment. And so we're left with this final, beautiful paradox. It suggests that our true nature isn't a thing at all. It's a creative nothingness. And the challenge isn't just to understand that intellectually, but to actually find the joy and the freedom in it. So the final question for all of us isn't just what is nothingness, but rather, if you could just let go of your attachments for a single moment, what kind of fun, what kind of freedom could you find in that space right now?